Hello and welcome back to the Sports Babble with myself and Jake. We're going to cut it down a little bit this week. It's not going to be an 20 minutes or whatever it was last week.
Mammoth session.
Mammoth session. We lost it on ourselves last week. We got too caught up in the moment, but I think what didn't help was that we were watching the Champions League as well. But that obviously isn't on this week. Plenty on the show this week. We did, I'm not sure if you've seen it, on our Twitter page at the Sports Babble, we did a poll basically asking fans about the League Cup. Is it worth it for teams to really take an interest in it, or is it really a competition that teams should sort of always rest their players, which they seem to do in it? A strange result. I didn't think this was happening, but 67% of people, I think there's about 50 votes, said yes, teams should take it serious, and 33% said no.
I think maybe that's the majority of Man United fans trying to justify how big of a competition it is after last year's victory.
That's funny, wasn't it? It wasn't that big a competition when MK Dons was steamrolling them, but it is as soon as they win it, of course it's.
So maybe we'll have to look into the sort of stats behind those figures to see how many of those fans are Manchester United fans.
Yeah.
Although I actually agree with the outcome, to be honest. If you have a big enough squad, they can handle the pressures of playing in the League Cup, which is only a number of games really.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a big enough squad, it's a prime opportunity to allow players that don't always get into the first team squad for the Premier League and the Champions League an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, every footballer should have the desire to play, and the League Cup is a way for them to do that, and a way for them to work their way back into the Premier League and Champions League squad.
But would you have had Arsenal tonight? Or you haven't seen the team. Would you want them to start their best 11 against Doncaster tonight? Or would you want them to rest players?
Well, they haven't started their best 11 tonight, but what I can say is that they've started a team that is more than capable of winning the match.
Okay.
I'm not just rhyming off what Arsene Wenger
No, that's grand. That's 100%.
But I think Arsenal have a big enough squad in order to handle this.
Yeah.
At this stage of the season, the demands of playing in the League Cup.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday evening.
Liverpool made a few changes last night. Obviously, we're beaten in the end by Leicester 2-0. The first half, Liverpool were quite comfortable. We're not going to go into the game too much. Second half, Leicester just did what everyone seemed to do and wait until Liverpool made mistakes and score. I am on the opinion myself that I don't take the domestic competitions that serious. I understand obviously that a lot of people love the FA Cup and there's a magic about the FA Cup, and I totally can see why people do that, and fair play. For me, it's sounding very like Jerry Armstrong there, but I don't particularly like the FA Cup. Probably I spoke about it in one of our earlier sports babbles when it was podcast form. Thanks to Eric Cantona in 1996, and one of the worst days of my life. But yeah, I don't really. So I'm of the opinion that no team shouldn't really take it that serious, and certainly when Liverpool go and play in the FA Cup third round, whoever it is, I'd like to see them put out a team of squad players like they did last night. More squad players.
But do you think, Philip, that sort of outlines the problem that Liverpool are going to face this season? That's, I suppose, a reflection. Last night they made a number of changes, as you said, and the players that came in, although they did quite well in the first half, they set a number. I suppose they had a number of chances to score, but ultimately they weren't good enough to win the game.
No, that's very true.
Would you be concerned, with the backup players, the likes of, if you look beyond Henderson, Wijnaldum and Chan in midfield, you've got Grujic, who was okay.
I don't particularly think Grujic, and this might come back and bite me in the arse here, I don't particularly think he is one that's going to have a big future at Liverpool. Yeah. Dominic Solanke and Ben Woodburn.
I was impressed by Woodburn.
Yeah, I think Solanke could. I'd like to see him get minutes in the league on Saturday against Leicester. That was his first ever start in English football, and I was impressed with him. Obviously, Coutinho in the first half was easily the best player on the pitch, and Robertson played quite well. But I know what you mean. You would be concerned that clearly, and this isn't going to be a summer recruitment bash in the Liverpool show, but the squad isn't strong enough to compete on all four fronts. So that's why I would be happy enough to go out of the two domestic cups quite early and give a bash at Champions League and the league. But
that's right. I suppose I would be very concerned as a Liverpool fan going by the depth of their squad. Last year they didn't have the demands of playing in Europe, for example. They didn't go that far in the cup competitions.
Semi-final of the League Cup,
League Cup,
but
but
the
the
FA
FA
Cup
Cup.
they were dumped out by Wolves. Wolves?
Yeah,
I think it was Wolves.
Yeah, that's right.
Until they turned into Jorge Mendes at Hampton.
Exactly. And, you know, I suppose that's the thing to look at for Liverpool fans. Will they have, well, obviously now they're out of the League Cup, will they have the squad to sustain a challenge in the Premier League? Because ultimately they want top 4 to sustain a challenge in the Champions League, which realistically I'd say last 16 is their, I suppose, most viable goal. And maybe to win a domestic cup.
Yeah.
You know, will they have that?
Well, they can only win the FA Cup now if they win a domestic cup, and I think the league's probably going to be blown wide open from the two Manchester teams and possibly Chelsea, and I think Spurs will still get themselves sorted and go at it. But we're going to move on, and we're going to take a little detour away from English football now to talk about, at the minute, my favourite team, because they're the one that give me actual joy at the minute. Real Oviedo, vamos Oviedo, por Vitor Ganar. So check that out and see what that means if you don't know what it means. But hello to all the Oviedo fans, especially Jose. He's our friend. Constantly tweets me and stuff, and he's a good friend of mine now. Oviedo played Cadiz. Sorry, Jake, on Sunday afternoon. Now Cadiz were unbeaten in the first 4 league games. They only conceded 1 goal, and they're also their 4th favourite. They're up there with favourites to win promotion, and as in win the league, not just get playoffs. So they're one of the stronger teams. So everybody knows, if you're following Real Oviedo or you've read about them, their main aspirations this year is for playoffs. They want to hit that goal of getting into the place and competing in it and seeing how it goes from there. And they've set that a marker, I think. They won 1-0 on Sunday against Oviedo, or against Cadiz, sorry, but it was one of those 1-0s, and you'll know this being an Arsenal fan, like when you said that unbelievable team, it's one of those 1-0s where you never looked at once like you're going to lose, and you could have won maybe 2 or 3-0. You look comfortably the better team, but only finished. Do you know what I mean? Only finished 1-0.
Exactly, yeah.
And like I don't see that at Liverpool, so to see Oviedo do it, and I'm enjoying that a bit more at the minute, and to see them do it was brilliant. I thought I'm just going to talk about Saul Baron. He played on Sunday. He had a mixed game. The first half, but 23rd minute in, he had an absolutely glorious chance. The ball's whipped in, and I think it's Aaron Niguez, Saul Niguez's big brother, that plays for Atletico Madrid. Right. He whips the ball in, and it's sloppy sort of defending from Cadiz, and the ball breaks to Saul. He's inside the 18-yard box, well inside it. He's about 14 yards out. Takes a touch, and it's one of those moments. If you've seen the match last night, where the ball drops to Okazaki, you know it's going in. When this ball dropped to Saul, I was up thinking this is 1-0, and it blazed over the bar. It's a bad miss, but he never let his head drop. He had a really good game from then on, and he set up, of course, Toche to score.
I suppose the only bad news is for Real Oviedo fans is that I think Crystal Palace are after a striker, 5 games in, no points and no goals, so Toche could be their man.
They needn't come anywhere near while on Steve Parish down when I'm in London next month, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, I think I put it on our Facebook page. He's about 40 yards out, Saul Baron, and it's one of those passes. It's not a lob ball over the top. It's sort of like head height, but he splits 2 midfielders and then 2 centre halves. It's a brilliantly, the ball just falls perfectly for Toche to take it in, and it's a brilliant pass. Toche takes it and buries it, and if that's David Silva doing that, who I think at the minute he's one of the best players in the world. Like, but if he does that on Saturday and we see it in match, everyone's going, "Did you see Silva's pass? It was unbelievable." But because it's Segunda and not many people getting to tune into it on these shores, you need to check out. It's a really wonderful pass in for Toche, and he buries it as usual to go 1-0 up. Then Saul had another chance in about 73rd minute from 20 yards out, and it's a good save from the Cadiz goalkeeper. Juan Carlos Nets never really had a save to make. He didn't really have a save to make, so a really comfortable 1-0 win from Oviedo that us as Oviedistas are very proud of and very happy with.
Just I suppose energises you with that sense of joy that one of your teams can actually defend well and win 1-0.
One of my teams can see a game out and doesn't, and we're going to talk about the Liverpool fan base in a bit, doesn't have a fan base. It's full of absolute lunatics, it seems, negative lunatics, but we'll touch on that. I just wanted to sort of, the next game They play, I had it written down here, sorry, I want to talk about the wages as well, which you'll be surprised with. The next game they play, I think it's Almira. I have it down here somewhere. I think it is Almira, so that doesn't look good, but I did have it down here. And like Newcastle, who are top of the league, they play Cadiz. That's a big game. Oviedo are up to 7th now, only 2 points off top of the league. So if results go their way, you could end up next weekend of being in the top 3 or 4, which is brilliant. Like,
Yes.
Just going to touch on. This is going to show you the difference between Barcelona and Real Oviedo. Everybody over here will know Barcelona and see La Liga and watch El Clásico. Barcelona's wage bill for the year is 500 million euros. Right? I know. Real Oviedo's is about 8 million. And they're only one league behind them. And next year we could be sitting talking about Real Oviedo versus Barcelona at the Carlos Tartiere. And isn't that mad? Like, that is. So that sort of puts it in the context for anyone that doesn't know.
There's such a gap between, I suppose, the top clubs in Spain and the clubs that fall in underneath them.
Well, the third team in Spain, they don't even cover half of Barcelona's wage bill. I think that's bill in. I think it's wage bill in, and it's also money in from probably TV and stuff as well. So, pardon me, that shows you the difference. I don't think there's that much of a difference between the top 1 and top 3 in England.
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows you what you're up against in Spain, which is mad. Like, yeah, that's our Oviedo. Obviously, 9 points splits the whole table as well, from first to bottom, which is completely lunacy. But yeah, it's Albacete actually on Sunday at 5 o'clock. Really proud of Oviedo, and thanks to the Oviedo fans that keep retweeting us and getting involved. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll get over to a game. I'm even trying to get over to a game at some point this season. I know Earthquake will be up for as well, because he can speak a bit of Spanish too, and he can teach me. So
sí, por supuesto.
there he goes. I was waiting on it. But yes, that's our Oviedo chat for the week. I thought I'd fire it in for you the start of the video, because I know the Oviedo fans they don't watch the English League or whatever, and they hang on until the last couple of minutes or whatever it is. So I thought I'd give it back to them today, and I'd fire it back at the start of the video for you. But we're going to come back. A bit to talk about in the Premier League. We're going to talk about Newcastle and Rafa doing bits. We're going to talk. I was at the Sevilla Liverpool game, and I want to chat a little bit about Liverpool's fan base a minute and how it's going a bit daft. And I'm actually going to let Earthquake talk a bit in this video today and get him to talk about Arsenal and Chelsea. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I was at the Liverpool Sevilla game last Wednesday night in the Champions League. My first time back around the field in a couple of years, so it was.
And how did it feel just to walk through the door, the gates, and head down and walk up into the stand and look down
at the Kop? It's hard to explain it. Why sound too cringy? It really is. It's a bit special for myself to get over there. I studied there for a couple of years as well, so I love the city. But yeah, got into the ground. Before the match, everyone was buzzing. There was a good atmosphere around, and I managed to eat 2 massive hot dogs as well, so I was in good form. And we had into the ground. We got in and we sang "Never Walk Alone," and it was a really good rendition of it. And I love it when it keeps going on after the music stopped and everyone was buzzing. And then we conceded a really sloppy goal. But the atmosphere kept going. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
The sort of goals that make Klopp feel sick.
Yes, and myself. That might have been the 2 hot dogs. So the atmosphere didn't change then. It was sort of like, oh, what the hell? And then it was sort of kept going, and they got behind the team. Liverpool were really good the rest of the half. Went in 2-1, got a standing ovation. Everybody's talking about how good Firmino is, and live, he's tremendous. Also, how fast Mo Salah is live. It's really. I started laughing at one point because he ran past Parejo, I think it was, and I just couldn't stop laughing because he just looked like he was in a blur. Then it comes out the second half, and Sevilla sort of take a bit of stamp on the game, not doing anything attacking wise, just sort of mute the game out, and it almost looked like they were happy to settle for 2-1. It's been talked about enough. Liverpool at the back, a big massive gap in midfield. They go on and they equalise. Now, sometimes you can, I don't know if this happened to you, but if Arsenal, you're at a game and Arsenal have been pegged back or they go behind, and the atmosphere just deflates like a big balloon deflating. This one just went bang. There was no deflation. It just went bang and instantly turned into just. I was beside a couple of seats beside me, was just complete horribleness. If that's even a word, it was just complete vile language, and I don't really care for language, but just being thrown at Liverpool players, particularly Jordan Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, Chan. Alright, they weren't having amazing games. I thought Gini Wijnaldum actually was. Moreno, he was actually having a good game. Go on ahead, sorry.
It was probably the same fans who were singing gloriously about their performance against Arsenal when they won 4-0, the fans that will be singing them and shouting the abuse at them when results just don't go as well. But built into the idea of being a football fan is that you support the team through thick and thin.
You do. And listen, I totally buy into that, but as I said to my dad, whose ticket I was using, and he's a massive Liverpool fan, one of the reasons why I'm a Liverpool fan, and in fact he is the reason I'm a Liverpool fan, I was really sickened by that, and I came home on Thursday, came back home to the house here, and was talking to my fiancée about it, and it really wound me up to the point where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be bothered paying money to go back, certainly not into the Cop. It wasn't just the fella beside me that I ended up having a bit of a word with. It was a couple people just down for me and stuff, and just nonsense being spouted. And there seems to be this thing in the Liverpool fan base now. I don't know if it's like an Arsenal fan base, but certainly in social media, that every draw or loss is just catastrophic. No matter what, it's just that's
like
it. The world is ended now.
The nails, it's on the it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, as they say. But there is this short-termism in football in general. Arsenal fans suffer from it, as do Liverpool fans, going by your experience, whereby they want the result there and then, and if they don't get it, they want big changes to be made. Yeah. They don't want to have the patience to wait.
Klopp talked about the patience. I don't know if you heard this, and it was on the radio the other night. He talked about the patience at Anfield and how you can still feel people are still going on history and how they used to win titles and they were the best team in Europe and all this here. And there is a sense of that
there's an arrogance.
There's some arrogant fans, but there's a sense of why are we not here again? It's not like we deserve to be here again. I don't think there's that anymore. I think we're like Mayo fans and Gaelic.
But to get from here to here, Philip, and that's what it takes to win the league. Yeah. You need patience.
And there is none of that at Anfield.
That takes time.
Yeah. Klopp's only lost. We've only lost 3 games from March.
The thing about it is that I just don't understand from the perspective of Liverpool fans is that the Klopp came in midway through the 2015-16 season. Yeah. Yes. And Liverpool that year conceded 50 goals. In the following season, which is last season, they conceded 42 goals. That's 8 goals less one season Klopp in charge. Now, if they make the same improvement this year, they will just be 1 goal off conceding the same amount of goals that Chelsea conceded when they won the league last year.
This is why I get him in these
stats. The improvement, if it carries on in the same way that it has done, will bring about the results in the end. Yeah. And it just requires patience. In the same way, for example, they've scored 2015-16 season, Liverpool scored 63 goals. Last season they scored 78 goals. That's a 15 goal improvement. So they're conceding less and they're scoring more. And eventually that will bring about the results. Yeah. The problem is, will Liverpool listen? That is the board, etc. Will they listen to fans in the Cop, or will they listen to Klopp? Yeah. So, Cop versus Klopp.
I know, and it shouldn't be that way, because I don't think some Liverpool fans realise how good we have it with him. It gets you see fans from other clubs, as they do, they just, and the same with Wenger, they give him torrid time, and you have to laugh at it, because these fans sit behind. They don't even come on to a podcast or a YouTube thing to talk about. They just sit behind a computer and talk nonsense. Yes. But I put it this way: I'm enjoying watching Real Oviedo more. Not the football wise, and Liverpool can play good football at times, than I am Liverpool, because see when Oviedo lose or draw doesn't go their way, it's a completely different mindset. But see when Liverpool lose,
put it behind us, move on and do better.
Yeah, we know we can do better. But when Liverpool lose, and obviously Liverpool have won European Cups and leagues and stuff, and I'm not trying to mash them them together, but it's just a completely different atmosphere. It seems to be with the Oviedo fans, and the way Liverpool are going, the way the fans are going, it's making me come back a wee bit from it.
And do you think that do you think that Klopp will be bothered with that? You know, like, this is a manager who will go to top teams. He's won the Cup in Germany. He's won the Bundesliga twice, I think it is.
Champions League final.
The Champions League final. You know, he has achieved success.
Yeah.
You know, will he have the patience to listen to this abuse?
I don't know. We won't. The only way we're going to find out is if it keeps going.
For example, if Ernesto Valverde doesn't go so well with Barcelona, not that that's, I suppose, in doubt at the moment, because they've started absolutely amazing, and Lionel
I feel like
Messi,
Messi's playing quite well. Yeah.
superb, and he actually dropped Suarez last night too. So, you know, but if Ernesto Valverde sort of didn't go so well, Klopp would be one of the top men linked with.
Oh, I
Barcelona.
think they wanted him before.
Yeah.
And you could see, yeah.
But I suppose maybe the Klopp effect is wearing off on the Kop in terms of they're starting to get fed up with talking of this Klopp effect. But when they look at the numbers, they can't deny the improvement that the team has made.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe they want to bring back Rafael Benitez. 3 wins on the bounce.
And that leads us brilliantly into our Newcastle chat. I love Rafa, and I'll say it anytime I'm on here. I adore the man. And he went off. They didn't start too well in Newcastle this year. Two losses in the bounce. And
2 losses on the bounce, and I was starting to wonder where the results were going to come from.
I thought he was going to walk because he wasn't getting the players.
Well, he's done it on a shoestring of a budget. You know, I know Hossley did not have a good game against Stoke at the weekend. He didn't.
He got himself in a really good position, but he didn't
take the chances. You know, but remember, he's a £5 million signing. Not that that's any excuse for missing chances, but Rafael Benitez has done his best with the money that he's been given, and he's also kept a large, I suppose, number of the squad that got him promoted.
I really wish they'd have got someone like Llorente. I think he would have been adored at St James's Park as well. They
were linked with Lucas Perez, who I suppose was more interested in going back to Deportivo La Coruña.
Yeah.
But he would have been a man for St James's Park.
Oh,
they really would have bought into him because he is energetic and he just didn't get the opportunity at Arsenal.
No. I have a good friend from university, Connor Porteous. Hello, Connor. And he's a lifelong Newcastle fan. His dad's from up around there, and so he goes to as many games as he can, I think. But I just asked Connor, I'm going to try to get Connor on at some stage through the phone, video chat or whatever, to talk about Newcastle. And I asked him where he thought Newcastle would finish this year. And they won 3 games of bounce, they've looked quite solid, and I think under Rafa they have a really good chance myself of getting top 10. And he came back and said they have in the squad for 10th. I'll be happy with 17th.
I suppose it's like anything, you know, we're making these statements on the cusp of the last 3 games. The season's a long time, and Newcastle fans of all fans have the experience of being a yo-yo team over recent years, and I'm sure they would take 17th position. However, going by the recent performances, you definitely say that they'll comfortably avoid the drop.
I think they will. I really do think 10th is in Newcastle. I think it's in their reach. And okay, maybe on paper their squad isn't amazing, and there's some teams that might get relegated and their squad's maybe on paper better, but they don't have Rafa Benitez, and I know he's going to get abuse here, and certain fans, even from Liverpool, don't like him, and Chelsea and whatever and blah blah.
They're doing superbly.
Yeah, technically in a one-on-one game, I think there's not many that are better than him.
You know, now Shaqiri did score a goal against them, but Newcastle could have been out of sight at that stage. Joselu had a number of clear-cut chances.
Thought Atsu played very well.
Atsu played very well, but the man who's really starting to shine is a man who didn't get an opportunity at Bournemouth when he was there a few seasons ago in the Premier League, and he's now getting the opportunity. 2 assists at the weekend, and that's Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, they're playing 4-2-3-1, which obviously Rafa kind of loves.
Good said.
Yeah, and he's playing as one of the 3 that are behind, the striker, him, Atsu, and I can't remember who the other one was. I had it wrote down, but I forgot it now. And those 3, they're working quite well, and the Moreno behind them as well.
He's doing very well.
He's keeping John Shelby out now. Shelby obviously has his doubters, but I think he was club captain, wasn't he? He was similar.
He's one of their senior players, you know, a player with plenty of Premier League experience. Here's a gentleman coming from Borussia Dortmund who's not played much for their first team in Marino, and he has done very well.
And with that come from Borussia Dortmund, Rafa Honigstein, obviously the German journalist was on one of the podcasts, I think it's the European football show, and he was saying that there was actually quite a number of people in the Dortmund academy that were quite upset that he'd gone because they thought that Dortmund could have been giving him a chance this year.
Yeah.
Which they're high flying Dortmund. They're one of the best teams in Europe. Like so.
And that just shows you that perhaps Rafa Benitez still has the pull as a manager to bring in those sorts of players.
Yeah,
players want to play under Rafa Benitez. Here's someone who's managed the likes of Real Madrid, the likes of Liverpool.
Yeah, Napoli. He didn't have a good time at Real Madrid, and I think part of it was because he wasn't an unbelievable ex-player, so he didn't have that respect. But he also hadn't just won like leagues like what Mourinho had done, or Champions Leagues. He'd won his Champions League in 2005, and he hasn't won a league or anything from then. So I think the respect wasn't there, neglected goals and stuff like Ronaldo or Ramos. Maybe just seen him as a whatever, Rafa, that sort of type.
Exactly, they didn't really take him seriously.
But if you look at that Napoli side now, that are one of the best teams to watch.
Largely assembled by him.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like there's Mertens, Callejon, Reina, Real Albiol, all brought through from him. Insigne, I think Rafa gave him his chance, or certainly brought him along.
And that sort of hints at the core of the team.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
You know, and that's the team that's bringing Napoli plenty of results. I think they play Lazio tonight, so it'll be interesting to see
That'll be a good game.
how they get on.
Well, I really hope Newcastle can get up to 10th. I'd love to even. What I would love is for them to stay in the Premier League and to get rid of Mike Ashley. Hopefully, that can happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but hopefully something happens. But I'm delighted Rafa's got 3 wins on the bounce.
And just one note before we, I suppose, move on beyond Newcastle, Stuart Atwell, who I suppose came onto the scene as a very young referee. I'm not biased, but he came onto the scene as a very young referee a number of years ago and made a bit of an error in terms of a goal that wasn't a goal and the phantom goal and all that.
Yeah.
And he was refereeing the Newcastle Stoke game, and I know Lascelles scored from the resulting corner, but there was a tackle on the Stoke or the Newcastle attacker, and Newcastle wanted a penalty. They were begging for
it was Zuma on Atsu.
Yes, and it was an absolutely superb decision from the referee.
It was a very good decision.
I believe credit referees when they get it right.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah,
and I thought he did superbly to make that judgment.
I think as well, what do you call him? Lascelles. I'm thinking of Lacazette because I'm still raising. He's at Arsenal. Lascelles, another winning goal, another powerful header, and before that goal, he's actually arguing with the referee, which you want to see your captain put a point across as well. So he's standing up for his team. That should be blah penalty, even though it wasn't. Ball comes in, and he buries it.
Yeah. So he switches his focus.
He's only 23 years of age as well.
They made a very good double signing. He was signed from Nottingham Forest, and they also signed Carl Darlow, a young keeper who will still, I think, have a big future in the game. I think
Robbie had a couple of outstanding saves as well.
He did. Rob Elliott did superbly well, and maybe he'll play his way back into the Ireland squad. Yeah. But yes, Newcastle. We'll talk about your next game towards the end of the show and do a preview. I wanted to get your view on Arsenal, if you can. 1-0 against Chelsea, and arguably the better team. No, it's not. There's no argument about it. It's 100% certainly the better team, and they did it in a way which was solid, compact, and difficult to break down. Yeah, those are two words in a phrase that we don't usually associate with Arsenal. But by God, am I happy that they pulled it together for the game.
We've seen it in an FA Cup semi-final, and we've seen it in a final, and we've seen it in Charity Shield.
We've seen it a few years ago at Manchester City when they were completely outplayed.
Cazorla was unbelievable that day.
That's right, and they won 2-0. However, they were not outplayed here. They had 50% of the possession, so they matched in Chelsea in possession. Chelsea had slightly more attempts, as you'd expect from the home team, but Arsenal had more attempts in the first half of this game than they've had in any other away game, I think, in a number of years.
I'm going to fire something at you here. Arsenal, that was the first time Arsenal haven't lost a game where Ozil or Sanchez didn't start. So anytime Ozil or Sanchez didn't start, in case I worded that wrong, Arsenal have lost a game. They might have come on, both of them might have come on, or one of them might have come on, but they've never won the game if both of them haven't started. That's an interesting stat.
Yeah, you know.
I don't think they missed Ozil, and I like
I
Ozil.
suppose if you put it like this, you know, Arsenal Football Club is the creme, and Ozil and Sanchez just add a nice flavour, but they don't make up the creme. The Arsenal Football Club is much, I suppose, more than two players.
Yeah.
And I know that stat is damning in itself, but it just shows you that Arsene Wenger this season, even though these two players might and probably will leave for free next summer, I've heard that Ozil might be negotiating a new deal. Arsene Wenger is prepared to make the changes. He started well back, but unfortunately he's now out for a month or so with the groin injury.
I like him too.
He started very well, and it will be very disciplined in midfield. And Ramsey chose to get forward at the right times.
Ramsey played like he plays for Wales.
Yes.
He's allowed to play like he plays for Wales.
But
Against
then,
Liverpool, which is well talked about, he was in a more restricted role. It didn't suit him.
No.
But when he was allowed that freedom...
But then again, they had obviously worked on it very hard, because Granit Xhaka was sitting. Ramsey would make the runs for it, and either Welbeck more so Iwobi would slot back in.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to be played through the middle like they were at Liverpool and completely wiped out. So it just shows you that anyone can beat anyone in the Premier League. The Liverpool result was a complete fluke, and it won't ever happen again. But I mean, Arsenal had a completely bad game that day.
Yeah.
And I just hope that they use this template in further away games this season, and even at home. You know,
you don't have to always blow teams away.
You don't.
I've seen as well a lot of like Ozil's assists or even goals that didn't, or assists that passes that didn't lead the goals. I'm not sure what the term is. Expected goal or something. I don't know what the term is for.
Chances created, maybe.
It's, there you are. You see, happened for Ozil. I haven't got the full quote here. When Arsenal are already 2 or 3-0 up. So it's almost like when the other team know that they're knackered or whatever, and Arsenal are so comfortable, he then comes alive and he's able to go off and kill a game. And I know this gets really on a lot, when it's trying to dig deep and it's trying to be disciplined, he just seems to maybe cause Arsenal a little bit of imbalance. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, it would be fair to say. You know, sometimes I look at Ozil and Sanchez and think these are two players who Arsene Wenger puts in the team, but they expect to be in the team and they think that they can do what they like when they're in the team. I'm
sensing you're not too impressed with Alexis Sanchez doing it.
No, I wouldn't say that I'm unimpressed. I would just say that he'll get back into the team when he deserves it. And I know he's starting tonight in the League Cup, and he'll probably start at the weekend, actually Monday night
against West Brom.
So, you know, he has to show that he deserves a place.
That's fair enough. We're going to come back and chat about we're going to do a Premier League preview, because there's full list of games to get through.
Superb 3 o'clock kickoffs,
yeah, which we love them, and obviously we already mentioned Oviedo playing Albacete. So we'll get on to the final part of our show, which is our Premier League preview. We also have a little bit of news to tell you. We can't confirm who it's with yet or anything, but we've a bit of news possibly to tell you at the end as well, so stay tuned for that. Where do you want to start with in our Premier League preview?
We'll just start with the 12:45 game on the Saturday. West Ham at the Olympic Stadium at home to Tottenham Hotspur, a London derby. The London derby that wrecked Tottenham's chances of toppling Chelsea last year in the Premier League.
There's also one where they got food poisoning as well, wasn't there? Then Arsenal qualified for Champions League and they didn't. Isn't that what happened?
No, well, last year Arsenal missed out. No, last year.
No, but remember that year that happened?
That's right, that's also right, yeah. That was when they were still at the Upton Park, West Ham.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to take notes of our results so we can see next week.
West Ham and Tottenham. Tottenham struggling at home, but winning away, and did very well at Goodison Park.
Very well.
I can't see anything other than a Tottenham win here. 2-1.
I think I'm going to go for 3-1 Spurs.
Right, okay.
I think they'll put on up, and it could even be more, but I'll go for 3-1 Spurs.
Okay.
So you went 2-1, I went. Okay. And our next game is, we'll go with Everton-Bournemouth.
Everton-Bournemouth.
See these next one of the games for Everton, and even tonight in the League Cup they could do with winning. There's about 5 or 6. A fellow I work with is a big lifelong Everton fan. There's about 5 or 6 games where their teams that, and status wise, are below Everton. They need to win about 4 of those, I think, or certainly not get beaten in any of them. Go unbeaten.
With the I suppose, return to form of Jermaine Defoe and also Jordan Ibe.
Yep.
Who I suppose you picked out as maybe performance of the week.
Yeah.
I think Bournemouth will score here, but I think that Everton will win the game, and I think that Sandro Ramirez might get his first goal.
For Ramirez first goal, are you going to go 2-1 Everton?
No, I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1 Everton.
Yeah.
I am actually going to go for a draw. I think Defoe will score. I think that's him going, and you see that with Defoe, he can go on a bit of a run. I think he's a very good player still. I think not only that there, I don't know where this is coming from, but I think Bournemouth will take the lead and Everton will come back and pick it back for a draw. I think it'll be 1-1.
Fair enough.
Koeman might be under a bit more pressure.
I'd say so.
There's a bit of a game up down in Southampton. Southampton play host Manchester United. Southampton have another good 1-0 win at Crystal Palace last week.
This will be a tough game for Manchester United.
Yeah. They haven't really done quite well.
No, they haven't lately. However, it all depends on which Southampton turn out. You know, they're very inconsistent at the moment, and they're trying to trying to work out what's the best team. They started Shane Long last week against Crystal Palace, and he had a very good game, although he didn't score. So, I'm actually going to go here with a Southampton win.
A Southampton win?
Yeah.
Right, okay. You going for another home win? You going to go for a score, or...?
I'm going to go with
the score doesn't really matter.
2-1.
2-1. Okay, 2-1. I'm going to go for a draw on this one.
More realistic.
I think Southampton. I'm not sure if they're playing tonight. They played last night. I don't know.
They played last night.
Okay. I think possibly you could see Van Dijk coming in. At home, and I'd say he'd probably be wanting to put on.
Who'd that other guy?
He looked very good against Palace.
Yeah. Although he was playing against Benteke.
He's not in the great run of form at the minute, granted. I think it'll be a draw. I think Southampton will hold them, and it'll be not like Stoke where it'll be like a 2-2, or I think it'll be like a scoreless draw. Even though United are flying and scoring goals, I think it'll be a 0-0. Yep.
Interesting.
We'll go with a Sunday game. It's the only Sunday Premier League game, and it's Brighton v the Toon v Newcastle. Chris Hughton against his old club.
Big game here for both sides. Newcastle's current form. Brighton won in their last home game. Yeah. So I'm actually going to go with the draw on this one.
Oh yeah.
2-2.
Yeah, I fancy Newcastle win.
That would be.
I think Rafa has them going a little bit now, and this is another favourable. I think it's a favourable game for them. I know down at Brighton will be a good atmosphere and stuff, but they played each other last year in the Championship, and I think Rafa will have Brighton's number, and I think they'll win it. So I'm gonna go. I'll just put down 2-0 to Newcastle, and you're gonna go for a draw.
Yeah.
1-1.
2-2.
2-0. We have Burnley Huddersfield. Burnley, who got dumped out of the League Cup last night by Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds are going very well.
Yeah, they are. They're going quite well. It's nice to see some Leeds fans come back out of the wood and stop supporting Chelsea for a while. So fair play to Leeds for coming back out, and I'd like to see Leeds back in the Premier League. So would I.
It'd be great to see such an historic club return to the top flight. This game, Burnley at home, who did not play well against Crystal Palace at home, but managed to win. Chris Wood scored last night, although they were beaten, and he has started very well. They had a good result at Anfield and played well, actually, I thought.
Yeah. Tchaikovsky's a good defender.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Purely because it's at Burnley, I'm going to go for a home win.
Right.
If it had been the other way around, I'd have gone for a home win as well for Huddersfield. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, Huddersfield have just had a wee bit of a snag, haven't they?
Well, I think if you even it out, they're sort of sitting or doing what you'd thought they'd have been doing. That sort of way, the results wise, you thought they would sort of even themselves out this way. So. That's
right. No, I'll actually agree with you there. I think Burnley will get a win 1-0.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go for 2-0. And you go for 1-0. That's interesting. Roy Hodgson's going to get absolutely smashed up at the Etihad. I fear.
I'm just wondering, can they play 11 Mamadou Sakos?
Well, they might have to.
Because the only chance they have of getting any result is by playing around, playing their keeper, playing 8 in defence, and maybe one midfielder and a fast forward. and which has not been techy.
No, not.
I don't think it's wise to start Benteke in this game because he'll have such little possession that.
Well, maybe you could start him in if you could get him to hold the ball up.
Will he?
He's so frustrating because at Aston Villa he was
superb.
Sometimes he was unplayable, and at Liverpool sometimes you were just thinking, oh, this is alright, this is him, and then he'd have other moments where he just didn't work. And I really thought Klopp would have been the manager that would have got a bet out of him at Liverpool. Didn't happen.
It's his attitude, I think.
You think?
I think the attitude just isn't 100% right.
On Match of the Day, they highlighted that he's not even making
runs.
He's not even making forward runs. He's not even getting into the box. It's just I don't know what's going on with the big man.
There's an indifference there. It's just like if I score, I score, and if I don't, I don't.
Maybe. You think? What do you think here? About 5 or 6?
I'm going to go for a 0-0.
A nil.
Man City in a scoring spree, but I think they'll come out with a respectable enough result because Man City probably won't get a linesman who doesn't know what offside is this week. So 2 of the goals last week were offside and shouldn't have stood.
One would have been an unbelievable call.
Well, Arsenal had an unbelievable call against Stoke that denied them a point, so I expect that from every linesman. And
still better.
I'm going to go with Man City win, obviously 3-0.
3-0. I'm going to go 5-0. I think Man City will go on and score again. Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva is just stupid together. Like, it's not really fair, I don't think.
No, it's not.
And the fact Gabriel Jesus and Sergio Aguero are now mates just doesn't bode well for the rest of the Premier League, I don't think.
That's right.
I think they'll win 5-0. And yeah, that'll not go down too well with the Eagles. Yes, go ahead.
No.
We have Swansea against Watford. So we have Marco Silva, who I'm a big fan of, against Paul Clement, who you're a big fan of.
Yeah.
So
I actually think Paul Clement needs a home win here. They didn't play well against Newcastle. They got beat 1-0. Jamal Lascelles with the headed goal.
And he cleared one off the line, so
They're a wee bit unfortunate, but at the same time, Renato Sanchez got his first assist last night.
Yeah.
No, he didn't play brilliantly again,
but he needs the
got
confidence.
his assist, and that'll give him the confidence. Lucas Fabianski, the goalkeeper's been saying how I suppose good of a talent he looks in training.
Oh yeah.
So how impressive he is. So hopefully he makes a difference this weekend. Boney will get a goal, and I think Swansea are going to win this game.
Watford are a good side, and
no, they're just fresh. Their last away game was at Southampton, and they won comfortably.
And they were beaten last week at 6-0. This is going to sound mad. 6-0, and it could have been like 6-3 at times. So that it sort of flatters Man City a bit. Obviously, you said about the goals as well. I think, but I just think Swansea. I think you're right. Boney's going to kick off, and I think Swansea will get the win. I think it'll be like a 2-1. And it'll be a massive result for Swansea. This will be a really good one after the point away.
They need to build on it.
Wembley last week. Yeah. So I'm going to go 2-1. You went. Did you go 2-1?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go there 3-1.
3. Oh, okay. We've Leicester v Liverpool at 5:30. Liverpool don't seem to have won at Leicester in about 3 million years. I think Liverpool are missing Sadio Mane. Obviously, both teams made a lot of changes last night. Leicester got the result. Coutinho will hopefully start again and play the full match. I'm going to go for a draw.
I'm gonna a score draw.
Yeah. I'm
going to agree with you that both teams will score, but I think the pressure's going to mount on Klopp, unfortunately, and I think they're going to lose this game.
Oh dear. I'm going to go for a 2-2
draw. 2-1. I'm going to go with Leicester.
You're going to go do you know what? Part of me sort of feels that as well, which is a bit horrible. And we finish off on Monday night. I love a Monday night game.
So do I. It's really a nice start to the week.
Because that means next week we've got Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night.
That's right.
Which we all love. And we have Arsenal v West Brom at Arsenal. Monday night game at Arsenal. Tony Pulis doesn't like Arsenal. Doesn't like Arsene Wenger. How dare he come over here with his tactics and his brains and take away us from our long throws.
Sounds like those people who support Brexit.
I think you mean Leicester fans, is that what you mean? I'm not sure. But yeah, we might as well kick everyone around. I'm gonna go for an Arsenal win. I think Arsenal. I don't think they obviously conceded 3 against Brighton. West Brom, but they're much better than that. I think it'll be a 1-0 to the Arsenal.
They'll work. The Arsenal will have to work for the result here, but they need to win.
Yeah.
If they build on the result, they need to win. And I think I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say they're going to win comfortably here, and I'm going to say 4-0.
4-0, fair enough. Johnny, I wouldn't be too impressed with that. Yeah, I'll go 1-0, 4-0. That'll be interesting. That's our previews done, and we took scores this week, so we can have the crack with each other next week. A couple of wee things. We'll sort of quickly just pick the players of the week. Yeah, you can go first.
I've actually gone this week for Mustafi.
All right, okay.
Shkodran Mustafi, who I know a few times on Sunday he was not all there, but the majority of the time he completely marked Alvaro Morata, who's come into good form out of the match.
Yeah.
And he did very well, and that's why he had got into German Team of the Year, for example, a few seasons ago. He proved his credentials, and I know there seems to be maybe a mistake in him, but on Sunday he was very solid, and he marked their main threat out of the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Jordan Ibe, simply because I didn't want Liverpool to get rid of him. When they got rid of him, I thought we could have kept him and nurtured him a little bit and seen what went on from there. And he came on. Bournemouth needed that result. It was massive for them.
Massive.
He came on, 2 lovely assists. And
particularly the back end.
Yeah, it was brilliant. He looked really well. He played brilliant, and to change the game in such a short space of time, I think it's class. So I'm gonna go for Jordan Ibe as my player of the week.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree.
To finish off our show, we are in the negotiations of getting a radio slot. I can't name the radio station yet because it hasn't been confirmed. I don't want to jinx it, but it's exciting news for both of us.
Exciting news, and it'll be absolutely fantastic to get onto the airwaves and pollute a few more people about our footballing interests
and knowledge. So that's the big. Stay tuned to hear about that. Hopefully, going to get a radio slot sorted during the week. So we'll be able to come at you live. We're still going to keep the podcast going. Surely. It'll be the radio show, and hopefully we'll be able to work something that we can do the YouTube videos as well. I can keep that going. As always, retweet, like, share, subscribe. If you like us, I don't see why you wouldn't like us, unless you're a Man United fan. You mightn't really like it too much, but we love you all, even Man United fans. If you like us, tell all your mates. Share this as much as you can, because then they won't hear it either, and you want your mates to see what you like too, like, don't you? Get us on Facebook at The Sports Babble, on Twitter at The Sports Babble. As I keep saying, we have an account set up. We're going to get blogs and stuff done. It's just about getting the time and getting that sorted. That's going to be coming out hopefully soon enough as well. And just one last thing for me: Vamos Oviedo. You can start as well. And yes, stay tuned and see you again next week. Adios.
Bye.